Imagine a world where every decision is a gamble, where every act, whether of kindness or of betrayal, weighs on the balance of life and death. Squid Game thrusts us into such a universe, a brutal competition that mirrors the raw, uncompromising realities of our society. Over the next 25 minutes, we'll dive deep into this cultural phenomenon through the lens of fragility and duality. We will unravel its complex narrative and characters, reveal unspoken bonds and bitter betrayals, and shine a light on its profound real-world resonance. This isn't merely an analysis of a TV show, it's an exploration of the systems that shape our lives and the choices we make when pushed to our limits. But before we begin, please note, this video essay contains graphic content and mature themes, including intense violence and emotional distress. Viewer's discretion is advised. Chapter 1. What is Squid Game? Before we plunge into its themes, let's set the stage. Squid Game, created by Hwon Dong-young, is a South Korean drama that brings together 456 financially desperate individuals. They're invited to participate in a series of childhood games, but these aren't the playful contents of our youth. Each game is a brutal, high-stakes battle for survival. The prize is a life-changing sum of money that promises to wipe away crippling debt, but the price of failure is final: death. At first glance, Squid Game is a tense thriller, yet as you watch, the games transform into metaphors, a commentary on economic inequality, systematic exploitation, and the precarious nature of modern existence. It compels us to ask, how far would you go for a future, and what part of your identity would you sacrifice? Chapter 2. The fragility of identity and the weight of society. At its heart, Squid Game examines fragility, not just of life, but of identity. Every character enters the arena burdened by personal loss, shattered dreams, and social defeat. Consider Seong Jin-hun, player 456, a man haunted by debt, estrangement, and regret. His existence outside the game is a testament to a system that values profit over people. Stripped of his identity in the face of survival, he is reduced to a number, a symbol of every forgotten soul caught in the gears of economic oppression. Jeon's struggle resonates far beyond South Korea. In a world where economic stability is increasingly elusive, worth is measured not by character, but by currency. This precarious balance between dignity and desperation is a global epidemic, echoing in metropolises around the West and emerging economies around the world. In Squid Game, every character's story forces us to confront our own vulnerability, inviting us to question, what does it mean to truly survive? Chapter 3. Survival versus sacrifice. Duality is the heartbeat of Squid Game. The series puts survival against sacrifice, illustrating that sometimes, to live, one must forsake their moral compass. This paradox is embodied in the choices made under the most extreme conditions. Take Ji-young, player 240, a character whose brief yet searing presence is defined by an almost sacred sacrifice. Confronted with an impossible choice, she gives up her chance at survival so that Sebyok, whose life is as tragic as it is hopeful, can endure. This act is a visceral reminder that even in our darkest moments, the capacity for compassion endures. This conflict between the instinct to survive and the power to give is interwoven in every decision in the game, urging us to ask once more, in the struggle for life, can our humanity remain intact? Chapter 4. The bonds that bind friendship. Even in a game designed to strip away every human connection, profound bonds emerge. These relationships forged under extreme pressure reveal the true nature of loyalty and betrayal. Let's examine these connections in detail. Ji-yeon and Sang-woo, brotherhood torn apart. Ji-yeon and Cho Sang-woo's friendship is one of the most emotional and heartbreaking parts of Squid Game, and it plays a huge role in showing how the pressure of survival can tear people apart. At first, their bond feels strong. They grew up together. Even though life took them down different paths, there's still a sense of loyalty and trust between them. As the games go on though, that trust starts to fall apart. Sang-woo becomes more cold and focused on winning, while Ji-yeon tries to hold on to his morals and empathy. Their friendship slowly breaks as they make different choices, and it all leads up to the defining moment near the end, when the two of them face off in the final game. In that scene, there's a powerful visual that mirrors the creation of Adam, the famous painting where God reaches out to give life to Adam. In the show, Ji-young reaches out his hand to Sang-woo, not to fight, but to try to bring him back, to remind him of their friendship and to stop the violence. But unlike the painting, their hands never fully connect. This moment shows that their bond, which once gave them hope, is now broken beyond repair. It becomes a symbol of how close they were to saving each other, but how the game, the money, and the fear pulled them apart. It's a turning point that makes the audience feel the weight of everything they've been through, and it highlights the theme that in a cruel system where people are forced to compete, even love and friendship can be destroyed. This moment doesn't just show the end of their friendship, it shows how far people can fall when the world puts survival above humanity. Sebyok and Ji-young. an unspoken, tragic bond. Among the most emotionally significant relationships is that between Kang Seok and Jeong. Their brief but poignant friendship embodies themes of fragility, duality, and sacrifice. Seok, a deeply complicated soul shaped by her painful past as a North Korean defector, was a hardened exterior as both armor and identity. Jeong, with her quiet strength and vulnerability, breaks through those walls with an act of selfless love. Their unspoken bond highlights the contrast between self-interest and selflessness, survival and surrender. By dissecting their final conversation and ultimate sacrifice, we can see a microcosm of the show's broader critique of societal structures that force impossible choices. Jiun and Seok, a quiet alliance of shared suffering. Jiun and Seok's friendship is one of the most meaningful connections in Squid Game because it shows how even in a world built on fear, violence, and desperation, people can still find moments of trust and kindness. Their relationship is quiet, with no grand gestures, but it stands out because of how rare, genuine care is shown in the environment they're trapped in. Jiun, who begins the games as someone who's struggling but still wants to do the right thing, slowly becomes someone who cares deeply about others, and his interactions with Seok show his desire to protect those more vulnerable than him. Seok, on the other hand, starts out extremely guarded. Her life as a North Korean defector has taught her to be cautious, distrustful, and to rely only on herself. But over time, Jiun's compassion breaks through her tough exterior, and we start to see that she is not cold, just deeply hurt. This dynamic reflects the theme of human connection in the face of cruelty, how even in the worst conditions, people still search for someone to trust. Their friendship gives both characters a sense of purpose beyond just winning money. For Seok, it's about seeing that not everyone is selfish, and for Jiun, it reinforces the kind of person he wants to be. This connection is important because it reminds the audience that these characters are more than just players in a game. They are people who can carry hope, pain, and the longing to be seen. The theme of empathy and trust plays a huge role in their bond, showing that these small acts of kindness can become powerful moments of resistance against a system that tries to turn everyone into enemies. In a show full of betrayals and heartbreak, Jiun and Seok's relationship gave viewers something to root for, something human. Ali and Sangwoo, the betrayal of innocence. Finally, consider the relationship between Ali Abdul and Sangwoo. Ali, with his sincere and almost childlike trust, stands as a symbol of the vulnerable exploited by ruthless ambition. When Sangwoo betrays him, it isn't simply a personal failing, it's a damning indictment of a society where loyalty is commodified in pursuit of survival. This tragic dynamic forces us to confront the exploitative nature of a world that preys on innocence. Jeong and Ino, or the frontman, a conspiracy of contrasts. Perhaps one of the most complex and compelling dynamics in Squid Game is the relationship between Jiun and Ino, the frontman. Throughout the years of running the game, Ino has witnessed nothing but brutality, selfishness, and loss of humanity. Then, Jiun appears, a man whose steadfast morality, even when faced with impossible choices, ignites something within Ino. In the final moments as Jiun is about to leave the game and return to the real world, Ino is seen unmasking in a private moment, a symbolic gesture revealing his inner conflict and fascination. For Ino, Jiun represents an entire new world, a living contradiction to the merciless system he has long administered. This conspiracy of contrast not only complicates the character of the frontman, but also adds a rich layer to the narrative, a secret hope that perhaps even the darkest hearts can be touched by unyielding moral resolve. Jiun and Ilnam, the illusion of trust. And finally, the friendship between Jiun and Ilnam is one of the most heartbreaking and complex relationships in Squid Game. At first, Ilnam seems like a vulnerable old man who doesn't pose any real threat, and Jiun, the ever-compassionate soul, takes it upon himself to protect him, which would also link back to his friendship with Seok, and how he would also like to protect her, with her being vulnerable, which really pushes the agenda of who Jiun is as a character. Their bond grows out of a shared sense of loneliness, with both characters struggling in different ways. Jiun is stuck in a life full of failures, while Ilnam's frailty makes him seem like the embodiment of someone who's lost everything. As the show progresses, their friendship becomes a reflection of fragility, not just in terms of the game, but in their personal lives. Jiun's kindness to Ilnam represents his refusal to fully give in to the greed and cruelty that surrounds him, while Ilnam's role as a mentor figure challenges Jiun to see the world in a new way. But when the truth about Ilnam's identity is revealed, it shatters his fragile connection, exposing the immeasurable vulnerability and manipulation that was hidden beneath the surface. Their friendship, built on trust and emotional support, becomes a painful reminder that, in a world as cruel as the one they're living in, even the most genuine relationships are easily broken. For the audience, this betrayal hits hard because it underscores the theme of fragility, not just of life, but of trust itself, and how easily it can be twisted or taken away. Chapter 5. Characters as symbol and representations of a fractured world. Every character in Squid Game is more than a mere contestant. They're a potent symbol of the contradictions and struggles defining our era. Their battles, both internal and external, mirror a society designed by systematic inequalities. Let's delve deeper into what each represent. Song Jin-un, player 456, the Everyman. Ji-un is the everyman, a figure whose silent agony speaks for millions marginalized by modern capitalism. His relentless battle with debt, broken familial ties, and deep-seated regret is a universal struggle for dignity in an indifferent world. Caught between unwavering empathy and the brutal demands of survival, his journey compels us to ask, how much of ourselves are we willing to sacrifice when our very existence is at stake? Kang Se-byuk, player 67, the deep, complicated survivor. Kang Se-byuk is far more than a mere survivor. Her character is a complex mosaic of pain, resilience, and an unyielding drive to reclaim her identity in the face of systematic oppression. As a North Korean defector, every facet of her being, from the stern silence in moments of crisis to the quiet vulnerability in rare instances, bears the imprint of a past marred by loss, betrayal, and relentless struggle. In a world that echoes the harsh, real-life challenges of North Korean defectors in South Korea, where language barriers, social exclusion, and cultural dislocation are daily battles, Se-byuk's determination becomes a powerful symbol of defiant hope. Her character is deeply authentic. She reserves her most personal conversations exclusively for her brother Sho, revealing a private language of trust and familial loyalty, while her voice, when laced with her distinctive North Korean accent, sharpens into a tool of threat and assertion, underscoring her readiness to protect herself and her loved ones at all cost. When Ji-young's quiet strength ultimately pierces through the walls Se-byuk has built around her heart, it transforms her, unveiling a delicate interplay between vulnerability and hardened resilience. This nuanced evolution not only mirrors the inner turmoil experienced by displaced individuals worldwide, but also highlights how the scars of the past can rise to a profound, defiant hope, reinforcing the idea that even in our most fragmented states, there exists the potential for rebirth and the reclamation of identity. Ji-young, player 240, the quiet martyr. Though her time on screen is brief, Ji-young's impact is profound. Her decision to sacrifice herself for Se-byuk elevates her from a mere contestant to a quiet martyr, a beacon of selfless love amid relentless brutality. More than a second character, Ji-young embodies the enduring struggle between personal survival and the moral imperative to protect another, serving as a potent symbol of compassion in a world that forces individuals to choose between life and the loss of one's humanity. Despite limited screen time, every gesture, every word she speaks, is laden with the weight of her past, a history marked by abuse, isolation, and the corrosive effects of systematic neglect. That fuels her resolve to offer salvation to someone in need. In sacrificing herself during the Marvel Games, she forces the audience to confront the unbearable cost of survival when the rules demand that the caring part of us be silenced and sacrificed. Her act transcends the immediate narrative, challenging viewers to question the price of choosing self-preservation over compassion, and illustrating the paradox that true humanity often lies in vulnerability and the willingness to give up one's chance of life for the sake of another. In this way, Ji-young stands not merely as a tragic figure, but as an essential moral fulcrum, a vivid reminder that even the smallest acts of selflessness can cast a long, transformative shadow on the collective conscience, urging us to reconsider what it means to truly live when faced with the brutal realities of our time. Cho Sang-woo, player 218, The Fall from Grace. Cho Sang-woo's descent is a chilling portrait of a man consumed by the system he once believed in. His transformation from a promising individual into a ruthless competitor is not just a personal tragedy. It reflects a societal decay where ambition eclipses ethics and betrayal is inevitable. His downfall, marked most poignantly by the betrayal of Ali Abdul, forces us to confront the moral compromises demanded by our modern world. Ali Abdul, the voice of the voiceless. Ali Abdul stands as a poignant counterpoint to the game's brutality. As a migrant worker with an unwavering trust and quiet dignity, he embodies the struggles of those marginalized by an indifferent system. The betrayal he endures at the hands of Sang-woo isn't just a plot twist. It's a damning indictment of a world where loyalty is traded for survival. His story is a clarion call to confront the deep-rooted injustices that shape our society. Chapter 6: A Mirror to Society. Though Squid Game is a work of fiction, its themes resonate powerfully with our reality. South Korea, the very backdrop of this narrative, has witnessed dramatic economic shifts, like skyrocketing debt, pervasive job insecurity, and stark class divisions. The faceless VIPs and wealthy elites in this series serve as biting allegories for those who profit from systematic inequalities, orchestrating the game of survival from behind impenetrable masks. Director Hwang Dong-yong's personal experience with financial struggle and despair are woven into every scene of Squid Game. His intimate understanding of desperation and hope makes the series resonate on a global scale. Here, every decision, every character is a microcosm of a systematic failure, forcing millions into impossible choices, a searing indictment of a world where survival is often paid for in humanity. Chapter 7: The Ultimate Question. What would you do? As we near the end of this exploration, one question looms larger than ever. What would you do if forced to choose between your morality and your survival? Would you stand firm in your values when the world is designed to strip them away? Or would you let relentless pressure reshape who you are? Squid Game is not merely a fictional narrative, it is a mirror reflecting the deepest fissures in our collective reality. It explores how economic desperation, betrayal, and the weight of unspoken bonds redefine our humanity. In this relentless game, where every moment forces you to choose between survival and surrender, ask yourself, how far are you willing to go to challenge a system that thrives on your fragility? This isn't just a story about a deadly game. It's a battle cry against a system that devalues human life. In a world that too often mirrors the cruelty of Squid Game, every moment forces you to choose between survival and surrender. Only by defying these broken rules can we forge a future worth fighting for. Let this be a call to awaken. The choices we make today will shape the future we inherit tomorrow.